This video is made for adult collectors because old G.I. Joe is, well, old. What? Why? Why you fall? Why you, where's your missile? What? No, my custodies fell. The G.I. Joe Transformers have been interesting to follow. Obviously, they sell well enough to have 4 of them so far with a 5th one on the way. No, just because your area has some on discount doesn't necessarily mean something is selling poorly, but this isn't a business lesson, this is a toy review. But one of the things I really like about this line is how it's improved with every release. Even if you haven't bought any of them, you can kind of see visually how each one has gotten better and better. But before they were incremental improvements, a little bit of stability or articulation or build quality. Now they just kind of went, fuck it, let's make something really cool and pumped this out. Like if I were to visualize it on a graph of the level of improvements, here's Megatron, then B, then Soundwave, then Cup is on this level of improvement. It's nuts. This is G.I. Joe Cup, and he feels pretty much like how I would want a G.I. Joe Transformer to feel. He's solid, mostly, stable, not hollow, well-built, has modern articulation, and a decent set of stuff and good colors. Like, I still have a couple of small problems with this, but like nowhere near the level of Megatron or even Soundwave, who I did like. I actually have a second Soundwave, but that's because customer service sent it to me. I love how this really feels like Cup is made out of his vehicle rather than just being G1 Cup with a G.I. Joe vehicle hanging off of him. They kept the Cup arms and thighs and head, but like that's it. And given the nature of the vehicle, that works very well here. There is a massive USA flag on the front, which is a bit in your face. And as someone who is not from America, it is a bit weird, but it is a G.I. Joe figure after all. More accurately, this is supposed to be akin to those original G.I. Joe figures and vehicles, which were like, you know, all American heroes, so it makes sense. This feels though like the first G.I. Joe figure that is specifically tailored to both G.I. Joe and the Transformers market. They're usually just Joe toys first because they get revealed on Joe streams most of the times. They absolutely nail the vehicles on all of them. The figure comes with the interactivity with the vehicles and exactly like how the originals used to be with Joe figures. Then the Transformer aspect kind of gets left off to the side, but here they put their focus on both ends of it because it really works as a robot. The only build issue I have is the chest. You have to make sure this panel here is like on top, otherwise the chest will pop out of place if it's inside because this panel will push on it. If you pick it up from the chest though, it will come out. Some thicker clips would have been nice. He also has his name on his legs. It's kind of funny. He does have quite the backpack, but like he has such big feet that he stands perfectly fine, and none of this wants to come undone. I love that. He does include some weapons that are more for alt mode, but they store on the back here, and you get 2 Joes, Sergeant Slaughter and Leatherneck, who I'm keeping sealed because they're unpunched and that kind of looks cool, but they can stand on the back panel here if you fold it out and then like interact with it, kind of Human Alliance like. Head is nice. It looks like an old man. Would have been cool if they did the whole cup cigar in his mouth thing, but given this is for children, it says 8+ on the box. They probably don't want to promote smoking. Also, I just want to mention, I love the shade of green. One of the biggest improvements this guy brings to the G.I. Joe Transformer formula is the articulation. It's wild. So you have head is on a ball joint. You can get a little bit of tilt, a little bit of up, a lot of down. You can rotate, full 360. Shoulders, very nice ratchets. They're really nice spring-loaded ratchets. They're not the weird plastic prongs that just do this. They're like, there's a spring behind that. And if you have the panel up here inside the chest, like the way that all the pictures and I believe the instructions show, moving the arms will unpeg the chest. So if you have it this way, the chest is fine. In and out, you get bicep, really tight bicep rotation. A tiny bit of over 90 degrees of bend at the elbow. Okay, everything's moving. You do have wrist rotation. That's really cool. A very nice ratchet in the waist. A very nice ratchet in the hips that go forward and back. They can go in and out. Thigh rotation. Another very nice ratchet in the knee, which can bend 90 degrees. And then, the first time I believe on a G.I. Joe figure, ankle pivot that goes all of the way. And this is intentional. This is not for transformation. They added this because they wanted to. Granted, you have to lock it for it to be straight, but that's for transformation. And then you have access to that ankle pivot. He is extremely poseable. It's a shame he only comes with this as a gun. which is why I keep giving him Siege Jetfire's gun, because he doesn't come with any weapons, and that's my biggest complaint, not concern. Biggest complaint is that he doesn't come with any handheld things, and if you get him into any poses, this doesn't really weigh him down. If anything, sometimes I find he falls forward a bit because of just how awkward it can be to pose these giant chunky legs sometimes because his knees are so high up, but he's still really fun to pose. So they got the robot on point. The transformation, though, has to be done in a very specific order in a couple of areas. Otherwise, it becomes a little bit fiddly, but it is a lot more involved than the last 3 Joe dudes. All right, let's make him the Triple T. This is a tiny bit annoying. So getting the chest pegged into the legs, pegged into the back when it comes to the end is the most annoying part. It does look messy when you get going, but it's not horrible. So to start with, we are going to do the arms. So the first thing you're going to want to do is just make sure they are straightened out and then have him surrender. Then what we are going to do is we are going to take the chest, and unpeg it, bring it all the way down, fold this bit forward, bring it all the way down, take the head, rotate it 180 degrees and bring it this way. That way you can then unpeg these shoulder bits here and open this panel up. It's a little annoying to get in here and get this panel out, so what I do is I pull the entire back up and get underneath here and push that. Now that that's up, we are going to unpeg these. Now the instructions tell you to flip these this way. That doesn't work. You have to flex it. No, there's a specific groove in here, so you go this way, 180 degrees, and then it comes down. Then you bring the arms. Well, first you want to make sure these are like, it's a little bit out of the way. Bring the arms down. They are going to sort of just fit into here underneath. Then you want to rotate them 90 degrees like so, and then fold the fists in. Now what we're going to do is we are going to take the head, push it in to this section here, then fold that down, and then that will sit here. The wheels, we are going to accordion them in, and then the arms are going to peg in and hold them into place right at the front there. And that's the back of the Triple T all finished. Fold the toes down, bring these sections up. Then we're going to take the knees and bend them forward while rotating this around and just bringing this into place. You want to unfold these panels, rotate this 180 degrees, and there are 2 pegs on either side that have to peg into these parts. And that's where it becomes annoying. So you get the legs pegged into the side here, then you accordion this in, and it's supposed to just shove into here on this series of hinges while also pegging into the crotch. So we're going to peg it into the crotch first, then we're going to bring it up and around and get it all squeezed together, but now it's starting to come apart. So it's difficult because you can't see as I get it in. Nope, it came out. It's difficult because you can't really see where you're supposed to be pegging everything into, just because there's no clear line of sight. Then you fold these panels in, then you bring this section up, and that will close up the treads. And now it's just a matter of pegging the entire back into place. So it'll peg into here and it'll peg into here. So we get the back all lined up, and then the treads will lock into each other. And then the last step is to take the guns, plug them into here, here. The missiles go here now, and here. And there you have the Triple T. Like I said, a little fiddly at the front if not done right, but like, I don't mind doing this. I've been flipping it back and forth, but man, this thing just shrinks down and mass shifts so well into the Triple T. It's just a thing on treads, and it's kind of funny. One of the first things I noticed with this vehicle mode though was how well this thing rolls. It's so satisfying because all the wheels are pinned. I've actually spun one of the back ones once, and it just kept going for like a good minute. Like, they spin very well. He can obviously seat the Joes, but also Core Rumble. That's literally how I've been displaying it on my desk, is Core Rumble sat in the seat. The cannons can rotate, but they aren't intentionally blast effect compatible. You have to stretch blast effects to put them on. I wish they had the actual posts. This off-white works pretty well here. Normally, off-white's kind of ugly, but with this green, it just works better than a full white would on this, I think. It feels a little bit more military than a blank white, otherwise it would just be United Nations. I like this. It's the first G.I. Joe toy that I feel is worth its price. It's the size and complexity of a commander of sorts, and it's priced that way, and you get 2 full other action figures with it, that's not bad, honestly. And also the box is super cool, but that thing is probably getting recycled because I don't have space for it. But I do recommend this if you're both a G.I. Joe fan or a Transformers fan, or if you're both. If you're a fan of G.I. Joe vehicles, this does everything the vehicles would do. If you're a fan of Transformers, it does everything a Transformer would do. If you're a fan of like interactive play, sort of like Human Alliance stuff, this does that very well. Like it nails pretty much everything I'd want it to nail on the head. But that's my look at G.I. Joe Cup. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.